Okay, so now that you have your needs analysis all set, the next step is to move forward and build a plan. So I'm going to show you how to do that on the plan generator. The plan generator is on the left side toolbar of HP Pro. It looks like a calculator. When you click that, you'll have this screen here. At the top left, you're going to see your primary and the spouse. It brings their information in automatically for you, so you can see their age, their gender, and also their hourly wage. Next to it says TU, that stands for tobacco user. So if the box is not checked, that means they are a non-tobacco user. And then you can also check if they have children 18 or under. To the right of that, you can see if you're going to build your plan based on the hour power or dollar per day program. Usually if the people are working, we use the hour power program. If they're retired or seniors, then we go ahead and use the dollar per day program because it makes more sense since they don't have an hourly wage. So for our situation here, these two are working, so we would use the hour power program. This next part is very important, so make sure you write it down. We want to make sure to maximize our ALP per sale. Our company average is 1,500 ALP per sale. That's really important for two reasons. One is we want to make sure that we're providing enough coverage and value to these clients. And the second thing is we want to make sure you work smart and maximize your programs. So in order to do that, we always show 2 hours per week. In this case, our husband and wife are both working. So what we can do is use their combined hourly, which shows at $40 per hour. Let's say another situation, if it was a single person, then what we would do is click this custom hourly and just take their hourly wage times 2 and type that here. So in my situation, I'm going to use combined hourly since we have husband and wife. We're going to build a program based on using $40 per week since they both make $20 per hour. Right underneath that in green, it shows you how much of this hourly wage has been used so far. So HP Pro automatically adds a few benefits for you. And what it started me with is using $11.65 per week. So then to the left of that in red, you can see how much is remaining to use. So it shows here that I have $28.35 left to use. So I'm going to add more benefits in until I get this remaining to say 0. The first step is you see they automatically added the A71, which is our hospitalization plan. And you see it starts out at the single individual. This is really important. If you're seeing a full family, you'll have to change this. So in my case, I have husband and wife and kids. I want to change this to say single family. That way every person in the family is covered on this. Then below that, you're going to see the benefits that are on your primary insured. The first thing that it automatically adds is the whole life coverage, which is for, you see the freedom of choice certificate. We use whole life coverage for the freedom of choice because it's a permanent need. Therefore, we want to use permanent insurance for that, and it's automatically added. The next box you can check is to add the 10-year RNC. This is a 10-year term benefit, and we use this, as you see here, for monthly income protection. So what we want to do is add first, how many years do you want to protect this person's income for? We recommend 3, but you see you can put all the way up to 8.5 years. The next thing we can add is another 10-year term, which can also be to cover mortgage or rent payments. So you see here it says house payment rider. Let's say I just want to cover their house payment for at least 1 year. And we learned on the needs survey that their mortgage payment was $1,500 per month. So 1,500 times 12 would be an $18,000 coverage amount. That's what I type here in the face amount. The last thing we can also add is ADB, which is the accidental death benefit. And then you see below where we can also add coverage for the spouse. So the first thing is whole life for freedom of choice. That's already there. This is important. In our situation here, the spouse is working. So I could go ahead and add the same exact 3 years of income protection. And the spouse also made the same amount, so I can put $210,000 for 3 years. Here you see below the benefits that we can add for the spouse. So you see the whole life is already checked for the freedom of choice certificate. We could add the same income benefit. So you see up top, I still have $10 left to use towards our budget. So if I check this for $10, I can include at least 1 year in income protection for the spouse as well. So that 1 year is $41,600. Now here's a really cool feature. Let's say you added everything and you still have a little bit left to spend. You're not sure where to put it. So we have $6.85 left. You can click the button to the left where it says allocate remaining. I would click the whole life coverage and then you click allocate, and it will increase those whole life amounts to spend that extra amount that you have, and then you hit finish. So now you see it increased the freedom of choice amounts from 15,000 up to 24,622 and 23,934. So there we go. Now we have 0 remaining. That's exactly what we want. We did the full $40 per week. And this is the plan that I would show them. A couple things here that you also want to know about on the plan generator. To the right, we have these green buttons. The plus sign is if you wanted to add additional coverages. But really important is these 3 lines where you have plan options. You can actually create up to 4 different options. So if you wanted to show them one, which is a recommended option, you could also create something that's a little bit higher. So you can show them what would happen if they wanted to put a little more into the plan. And you could also build one that's a little bit lower. So you could show them what would happen if they want to put a little bit less into the plan. So when I check those boxes, you see it will show all 3 plans side by side. So it's a great comparison to see them all together. So that's a great option if you're seeing a husband, wife with kids and they're both working. Let me show you a second option. Let's say if you're seeing someone that's a little bit older and they're retired. Now I've adjusted where I put 2 people that are over 60. So the first difference is you see that the freedom of choice, it now says SRG. This means it's a senior plan. And since they're not working, they don't have an income to protect, maybe they don't have a mortgage payment anymore. So if the freedom of choice and A71 are the only benefits that you want to use, then you'll see here I'm using the same $40 per week. I have remaining $16.66. First, I'm going to make sure again that I have single family to cover both people for the A71. And the next thing that I'll do is just click allocate remaining and allocate the rest of the money to their freedom of choice. So I click the freedom of choice, hit allocate. It will increase those amounts based on how much money they have left, and then hit finish. And that's easy. Now I know for $40 a week, they get the A71 for the whole family. The primary gets $13,571 on the freedom of choice, and the spouse has $12,203 on the freedom of choice. So there's a couple situations for you on the plan generator. There will be probably more situations that you'll run into, so my advice would be that if you have questions about this, make sure you go to your mentor and ask them for help on how they would build plans. But the best thing to do is just jump in there, do lots of practice applications. That way you know exactly how it works. Ayo, let's grow.